I think we had a very intensive phase where indeed we were like actually in grind mode, like not doing anything, just working until the middle of the night. Zero understanding of paid advertisement and just throwing thousands of euros at it.
It indeed has always been pipeline, because I think if you don't have the right pipeline, then you're going to react on certain emotions like, hey, one client leaves, okay, everything is completely wasted, we're going to be bankrupt or whatever. And that's all from like that kind of scarcity that you build if you don't have a pipeline.
Getting new cash in the bank is the only thing that will save you. Like there's nothing else that, because you need it for people, you need it to improve your delivery, you need it to just like actually feel okay within the business. Like if you're stressed for money, then that is a very bad place to operate from.
Welcome. Today we have two special guests, Sven and Wesley, from Blynked. You started 3 companies, all of them failed. And right now you have a new company where you're doing 4.1 million in client revenue and grew from 4 to 11 people in the last 16 months. And you're on a mission to scale from 1 million last year to 3 million this year. Welcome, Sven and Wesley.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Nice to have you today.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the 3 failed companies, of course, the lessons you learned from them, and the strategies behind the rapid growth right now, and the plans for the future. Yep. But first, let's start with your story, Sven. Where did it all start for you?
Sure. A long time ago already. I think we've been working on this business for close to 5 years now. I started my, it's not real entrepreneurship back then, but I think I started when I was 16 or 17. I wanted to earn more money than working in a supermarket, and I didn't want to work in a supermarket. So I basically started off with doing everything that I could to earn money. Whether it be doing SEO, writing blogs, website development, basically every sort of something related to online marketing, I did it to earn money and gain experience. I did that for, I think, 1.5 to 2 years when I was in college. Did 1 year of college, and then you also started for yourself, started running your own business. We did some projects together, and we basically got to a point where it was like, okay, why not bundle forces and just start doing stuff together, because you had like a design background. I studied what was it called? International Business Studies or something like that. So I was more on the sales side. We started doing that together. That was the start of something, I'd say, a little more established. It got more evolved. We started doing stuff more professionally. Looking back, it was a nightmare, but back then it felt like it was somewhat professional. We did that for, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 years, something like that. But we didn't love what we were doing back then, so it always felt like a grind, and I don't know, you were just doing it for the sake of money. We did quite well in our first year of actually focusing on website development, but we got all of our clients from friends, family, people that knew us, etc. And then, that dried up quite quickly. We had to get clients for ourselves, so we had to figure out stuff to, I don't know, do client acquisition. We found that more fun, and also saw the opportunity, and hey, there's way more money to be made in helping others do the same instead of helping companies build websites, because it's a one-time thing. A business buys a website every 4 years or something like that, and a business needs new clients basically every month or every quarter or whatever. So we started focusing on that more. We got engaged with our coach. We're still working with them today. And they basically guided us through, hey, how do you go from offering something that a lot of people offer, which is then website development, to, hey, how can you position yourself in a way where you are seen based on the value that you deliver, instead of just a thing like a website that looks good and doesn't bring a lot of value to others. That's what we've been doing for the last 3.5 years now. It has evolved from, again, something that was pretty immature back then to something that is, I'd say, quite professional right now, or at least it's still in phase 1, but I think right now it has some good shape and form. That's where we are right now. Grew really hard last year, did both revenue growth, team growth, personal growth as well. I think that was the biggest driver for us, because we're both still young. It's not that we have a huge team, but working with over 10 people right now kind of feels weird sometimes, or at least for me it does, because you are responsible for feeding others and their children and whatever it might be. We're just working hard, trying to stay aligned with ourselves, with our goals, with each other, with the team. And I guess, 2024 was just a start.
Sounds good. Great story. And for you, Wesley, how did it get started, and how do you meet each other?
Good one. I think we have quite similar journeys. I think exact similar journeys. Like for me as well, it kind of all started once I was still in college as well. Like Sven dropped out a year earlier than I did. But I was already working on some side projects as well, because I had kind of the same dream. I still wanted to make a lot of money online, not go to school, because I didn't want to just work at a job. Back then, I was mainly working at Albert Heijn. It's just a local supermarket for like 6 years or something. And I think the overall journey is quite the same. Like the way that it all started is we were already really close friends. We knew each other from college. And I would say we talked like maybe every single day.
Yeah, like we were in the same class, so
I think we were probably talking more than you did with your girlfriend.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think we did.
Yeah.
But from there, I got in touch with a lot of people that did dropshipping as well. Whereas I was later down the line, like the main point of contact for building out these websites and building out all of the Shopify websites, from where we essentially started dropshipping ourselves. So I think that was like the first main thing that we actually gotten some revenue from as well. Yeah. And because of like that knowledge in like building websites, all of the technical background, Sven had a lot of experience within SEO and stuff like that as well. We kind of joined forces, and I think like from that point it kind of all kicked off. A lot of ups and downs, I would say. I think now we're in a really good place, whereas we have everything split into two as well. Like I'm the main responsible one for like the team, everything in regards to the operations and stuff. And Sven is mainly on the front end, the one that everyone sees on the screen or whatever. So I think that's a little bit more on that. So overall, quite similar stories, I would say.
Nice, some similar background stories.
Yeah, we've basically been engaged in like the same businesses since, I don't know.
We knew the same people.
6 years
Knew the same people. Were engaged in the same businesses. We both did the dropshipping together as well. We both worked for dropshippers as well. Like we were quite familiar in that space already. Yeah. And I think from that point, we kind of got to the point. Like I still recall the moment that we were running dropshipping, doing paid ads until like 1 or 2 in the middle of the night on Skype, like with each other. Oh. Both of us laying in bed, figuring out how to do ads and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been a journey so far.
Good. Sounds like a great journey.
Yeah. It's like it's only now that you start looking back and you think, oh, it's actually a good story. Back then you felt like a big failure, but now it's like, okay, the cheesy thing, like when you do not give up, you can't lose. But I think it's true, because if you give up on your first failure, then it is a failure, and now it's a learning lesson. Like you don't know where you would have been if you stopped doing it, but you know where you are right now. But
yeah. Nice. To zoom in a bit more about the 3 businesses you started and failed. Could you tell us a bit more about what the businesses were about and how the journey in the business goes? Yeah,
sure. So I think like all 3 were, I think, started when we were still freelancing. One of them was a clothing company. We wanted to start a car washing company for like in our village and around it. And we also did drop shipping. I think we did the clothing brand first.
Yeah, that was the I think it was even maybe one more, because we had like a fitness clothing brand as well as like a normal clothing brand. Yeah. We just wanted to do something with kind of a product and just wanted to start something. And I think, like looking back, I think if we would have gone through with that, then probably that would have grown as well. Because I think, right now, starting a clothing brand is like
super difficult.
But yeah, back then we thought like, yeah, cool, man, have our own clothing brand, fitness clothing brand, because I was really both of us were really into heading to the gym. We always went to the gym together as well. We were like, yeah, it's cool if we have like our own thing, like our own brand, and everyone walks around in the gym with their own brand. but yeah, that ultimately, I think we ordered a couple of samples,
Yeah.
but from that point we were like, okay, this is not going to work.
No, I think the main reason that we failed was that we got lost in the usual cycle of, like I mentioned earlier with another business as well, but like your website needs to be perfect. You need to have the perfect logo. You need to have everything figured out. Like, and then you waste all of your money, your energy, your mental headspace on basically not doing anything that moves the needle, because you're just like building for yourselves essentially, and you think that you're making progress because you see the website improving and the quality is improving and all of that good stuff, but you're not doing anything. Like, no one knows about you, no one sees you. And I think that my sister still has one of the samples that we had from back then. She still wears it to the gym, so it's not for nothing.
But we can start it all over again.
We can redo it. No, I think it's. I think that was the main reason for failing, and I think that's also the reason for, I'd say, failing with other initiatives. It was just the fact that you do not know what actually moves the needle. Like you think. You brainwash yourself into thinking that building a website is progress and that building a website is part of building a company, where right now it's like we're a big advocate for sell before you build. And that basically means that, hey, validate that someone wants what you have before building an entire company. We always tell that to our clients, like when they come up with new ideas, like some of our clients basically built new businesses from the ground up, invest a lot of money, time and energy, and then they try to push it to the market and it fails. And it was a thing of, hey, if you just would have actually spoken to your market, then you would have known that you were going to fail. And I think that is something that has changed massively right now, because you have just gotten all of the learnings around, hey, we have built 5 companies, for example, before we started selling, and you failed. And now you make sure that you validate your ID first before you start doing something and pouring time and energy into building something that's destined to fail. Same for the car washing company.
Yeah, that was also like building the website from that point.
Social media, branding.
Everything was sorted, but like
clients.
Like
zero.
if I think like one lesson from that, if I kind of look back at that with like sell before you build, what I would just do is like go up to other people, go to their houses and be like, hey, I'm starting a car washing company. Do you want me to wash your car? It's free. And then just collect like pictures or share it on social media before actually building out a website or making it look all professional without even having, like, what's a website if no one's going to visit your website, right? Like there's no one there. There's nothing to show you because there's no one there. And I think that's, probably a thing that I would do differently if I would start it all over again. Not that we're going to do car washing, but...
Hell no. No, I think that is indeed very, very true. I guess the only exception, and that would be the third business, was the drop shipping. And I guess the main reason for that, I'm not going to call that a success, but the reason why that didn't fail as bad as the others was just that we had way more experience with it, because we were working with, I'd say, like quite big the sort of biggest drop shippers that were known in the Netherlands. We were working with and for them. So we basically saw all of the ins and outs of what they are doing, which products are they testing, how are they doing everything. And we started doing that for ourselves. And you basically had way more experience than in the rest. And I think that could also be a reason why the other ones failed. You let yourself, you hold yourself back because you don't know. You tell yourself, hey, I don't know enough to make this succeed. Like, deep down, you maybe unconsciously tell yourself, hey, I'm not good enough to do this, which is, for me at least, sometimes still relevant with our current business. And I think that is like you don't see yourself as a person that may succeed, if that makes sense. And I think the other one was like the drop shipping was, hey, we know how to do this. There's no reason for this not to succeed.
Yeah. You've seen the success with others.
You know that
it's
doable.
Yeah. And it removes the whole thing of being afraid to fail. Like, it's still there, but you can see that it doesn't mean that you always have to fail, because there are people that making it succeed as well. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, as well as like being around those people. You kind of, it's the same thing as like for you guys, like you have a lot of people here as well. And I think that it kind of gets you in a certain mindset because you're around people that do the same thing. that want to build a business, that show that they want to build success, that they want to help people, that they want to kind of build a whole empire. And that kind of motivates you to go further as well, because you see it up close. Like, it's not that you see it within just like a YouTube video, but you see it up close. Like, you were working really close with one of the drop shippers. Like, there was one guy that we knew as well. Like, you were working really close with him as well. Like, you see the success, you see everything in there.
You almost it's possible.
Yeah,
you see
you
that it's
almost
possible. Yeah,
feel like, hey, then
if he can do it, why can't we do it?
Yeah,
right?
indeed, and also like, why not try it? Like, what? Like, some
What's
people,
there to
some of
lose?
the, to be very frank, like some of the people that we were working with, I know for a fact, 100% certain that they were way more stupid than I am. Like, if they can do it, why couldn't I do it? Like, we were working with guys where it's like, okay, how are you doing this? So why not try it yourself? And we did that for not super long. I'd say a year, something like that. I think we had a very intensive phase where indeed we were like actually in grind mode, like not doing anything, just working on, until the middle of the night. Zero understanding of paid advertisement and just throwing thousands of euros at it from all of the sales that you were getting.
I still recall that we had like our first winning product.
Yeah.
I think like in the first week of like running the ads and running stuff with that, I think we made like $2,000 or something like that. And like, that was all of the cash that we had. That was all wasted in ads later down the line. So we used that to test new products, get new products. I still kind of know that we had a color for dogs as well.
A branded product.
A branded product that we bought. I think I still have it somewhere at home.
But also then, like, we were building before we were selling, because we hadn't run any ads. We were searching for a supplier, ordered samples, basically did everything.
Waited 14 days for it to be arrived.
And then we started selling, and it was basically no one wants this.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moral of the story: don't build before you sell.
So the biggest lesson is more about the needle moving activities.
Yeah.
To put those first, and later build a website when the product is validated. Yeah. How did you get the knowledge to know you have to move the needle first before and build before you validate before you build?
I think just by failing dozens of times before. And also, like, it's very easy to look back and say, oh, we fixed that right now. Whereas, like, that's not true, because I recall things of 6 months ago or a year ago that we were still focusing on the entirely wrong stuff, and where you're basically, again, doing stuff that doesn't move the needle. Because end of the day, like, what moves the needle? Creating pipeline. That's it. Like, generating as much cash as possible, because still in the stage where we are at, and I'd say for every like smaller business, getting new cash in the bank is the only thing that will save you. Like, there's nothing else that, because you need it for people, you need it to improve your delivery, you need it to just like actually feel okay within the business. Like, if you're stressed for money, then that is a very bad place to operate from. And not only money, but also like if you do it from, and that has always been a very big thing for me, if you do it from a place of scarcity, and from, hey, I do not want to lose what I have, then it's very easy to start making the wrong decisions. You think in the wrong way, you don't make rational decisions, you focus on the wrong stuff. And I think that is and has been a pitfall for me personally, at least. And yeah, it's just learning as you go, like reflecting on, okay, why we made a certain decision based on the info that we have. That decision failed, like, why did that happen? Did we not have the right data? Did we not look at the data correctly? Were we just being stupid? Could also be a thing. And yeah, I think it's kind of like we were thought a feedback loop concept, basically. Like, you do one action, you wait for the action to like come to fruition, you evaluate on the decision that you made, and then you do something different, and then it's back into the feedback loop again, because you never have it figured out. Like, it's always, you do one thing today, it stops working next week, and you need to do something different. So it's always, iterating and testing and trying new stuff.
And I think you also don't know what the biggest needle moving forward thing is as well until you actually do it. Because like, I think now that we've been growing, getting a lot more people, getting a lot more clients as well, I think it makes it kind of even harder to decide what is the needle moving forward thing right now. Like, it indeed has always been pipeline, because I think if you don't have the right pipeline, then you're going to react on certain emotions. Like, hey, one client leaves, okay, everything is completely wasted, we're going to be bankrupt or whatever. And that's all from like that kind of scarcity that you build if you don't have a pipeline.
Yeah.
Like I think we can pinpoint the moments that we had like a solid pipeline and that we knew, okay, like we can invest, we can just take risk as well. Like if it then fails, then it doesnn't feel like failing, but it more feels like learning. Whilst if we had like a lower pipeline with not a lot of people in there, then like if something fails, and that was especially for you, like everything was like the whole world would collapse or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's also one kind of big lesson learned.
Yeah, I think it probably sounds recognizable for like other entrepreneurs, especially in a smaller business where like there were situations where we had good cash reserves, still enough clients left, but there was one, for example, instance where a client wasn't satisfied or where it wasn't going as we wanted it to be. And then due to that one thing, you just, again, if you operate from that scarcity like mindset, you start squeezing everything even harder. And that just puts you in a bad place, both like mentally, physically, and also like what you radiate to others, like the people on the team, because you just start making like the wrong decisions end of the day. Because then all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, should we change what we do? Should we change our services, our delivery? Should we focus on a different niche because it's not working for this client? And then if you're able to take a step back and make a rational decision, look at what you have, it's like, why are we stressing? Like it's 1 out of 12 clients where it's not working like it should be. Just be calm, dude. Like don't stress. And I think that has, like I said multiple times, been a very, very big learning curve for me. Still don't really know why, but I know that I need to keep developing that, because it's just like I said, a bad place to operate from. If you're always scared you have built something right now, and I'm trying to start like playing to win instead of defending what you have right now, because then like you stop innovating, you stop trying new stuff, you stop like investing, actually pushing the needle. It's like, okay, we have what we have right now. You have a good life, you have a great team to work with, you have good clients. Let's just protect this. But by protecting it, you
don't grow.
Yeah, indeed. Like you stop doing where others like double down on innovating and testing new stuff and spending more on ads and doing whatever. You start basically like playing more on defense. And I think that's where you start slowly but steadily killing yourself and what you have, because I think then it's like I said, really slowly decreasing, and then it gets to a point where you're like, oh shit, now it's too late. And
I think with that probably like every loss feels way bigger. Yeah. Because like essentially you kind of play to lose and you play to protect certain things. So like if you protect it and you lose something, then it makes it feel way bigger than if you do it the other way around. Yeah. I think we'll probably, like we have business coaches that we work with, and they usually call us out with that as well. Like, yo guys, play to win instead of play to lose. Just like, of course, protect your downside, but also look at what's the upside of certain things and like be able to take those risks. I think that
a loss is not a failure, but a loss is an opportunity. Like I'm trying to reframe into, hey, if I see an opportunity, I take it, and it doesn't work, then it's not a loss, but it's like same as like closing deals. If you know I have a 33% close rate, like 2 no's, then you're at your final deal, and that, or the final sort of like person that you need, and that's the one that will put you to a closed deal. So if you have 10 opportunities and you fill 9 of them, usually like that one is the one that will fix the other 9s in terms of investment back, or in terms of mental peace back, or stuff like that. I think that's a big thing in terms of decision making. Like you should just indeed play to win. I think that we should turn that into one of our core values. But I think I mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but being aligned with yourself and making sure that you know what you're doing it for, and that it's not like a short-term thing, but that you are playing to win on the long run, and then you start looking at stuff differently instead of being super emotional. I think that's something that Jordan has said a gazillion times, but remove the emotion from the business. Like you are not the business. The business is completely separate from who you are. And even though you feel bad about certain things or whatever it might be, remove that entirely from the business itself, because you just make bad decisions if you get emotional. Like same if you're in a fight with, I don't know, your girlfriend, your mom, your friends. Like if you are in the heat of the moment, you're emotional, you say things that you don't mean. Like that's just a shitty place to be in. So.
Yeah, very nice. When I'm listening to you, I also that mindset is a very big thing.
Yes.
Like what you said, play to win, not to lose. Very important to have that good in your head.
Yeah.
Could you tell a bit more about what you right now do with Blynked?
Who goes?
The one that
I'll
usually
go.
sells.
I'll go. Sure, I'll go. So basically what we do is we work with, as of now, we work with custom software development companies and SaaS companies. What we do with and for them is basically build out their entire client acquisition system. And that basically means that we start at like what they call go-to-market strategy in fancy marketing terms, but that we help them with defining who do you sell to, why do you sell to them, where do you make your best ROI, like help them go from, hey, we can basically do everything for everyone, or hey, we have so much experience and we don't know how to properly like segment our target market. From there on, like identifying the best opportunities and also looking at, hey, how are we going to then like acquire new clients? Which could mean that you start running physical events, online events, run cold email, do paid advertisements. We take a very holistic approach in everything that we do because a lot of our clients, they sell stuff that is very high ticket, very complex, a lot of decision makers involved. So it's not like hey, I see a Facebook ad and I buy something on a web shop. It's a very long and complex sales cycle. And that means that we take that holistic approach to support that complex sales cycle because you can't expect to, I don't know, get someone to buy a 100 or 200 or 500K plus contract just by seeing one cold email campaign. So we basically take it like end to end. So with a couple of our clients right now, we are running a lot of like physical events to basically like get high intent people to your, like start building relationships with high intent leads. Just to call them that, I kind of despise the word leads because a lot of people have ruined the word lead generation. But yeah, we help them with defining that. How do you do that? Like, how should you structure those events? How do you run your calls? And then also like support them in sales because a lot of our clients are, sorry to say this, but not good at sales. Like they just, very few people have proper experience with consistently selling to a cold audience. And cold sales and warm sales is a night and day difference because, yeah, someone who comes from your network, like you basically have to mess up the conversations to not get that deal. And with a cold lead, you're taking someone from here all the way to there instead of like the final 10%. And yeah, that's something that we, again, by experience found out, like we were generating leads where we were like, okay, how are you messing up these conversations? And then we started diving deeper into like their sales process. How do they run it? Like, what do they do? And we found things that like literally ridiculous. People sending out 200K proposals after a 30-minute discovery call. And with incidents like that, we were like, okay, we need to support on sales. So we do sales call reviews for them. We set up their CRM management, CRM, like their data, how they use it within the CRM, and basically like support them within the entire sales process. We have SDRs on the team who keep our clients accountable on, hey, do you do your follow-ups? How do you do them? Are you even actually executing on the leads that we give you? And yeah, there's a lot of, I'd say, individual stuff within our partnerships that kind of depends on the client. With some of them, we help them with identifying, hey, I need new sales reps. Where do I find them? What kind of people do I need? We have clients that have, I don't know, pre-built for our custom software development clients, but people who have pre-built products that they can basically like sell to the same audience as their existing client. So yeah, package those products up and push them to the market to just generate more revenue. So it's a very like A to Z approach, and we try to always stick to that A to Z approach. Some clients are like, hey, can we just get that, or can we just get that? And I always make the comparison with, you have like in the supermarkets, the pick and mix like deals. That's not how it works for us, because yeah, if you start taking out deliverables, then you just do not get the results that you want. So we try to have very, I'd say, intensive, like broad partnerships with our clients. Like it's
make
not
it controllable as well. I think that's like what you usually see is that a lot of companies that they only deliver leads, they're only scheduling calls and whatever, and like without any proper training, or like most of our clients, like they're really technical, so they don't have any experience with selling. Like most of them by accident build a business. Like they've been a developer, then by accident they build business, and from that point they thought like, okay, damn, I'm building a business. I actually need to move forward with this right now. But then comes the point like all of the network and referrals and everything kind of stops. Like they don't have any control over that, and they need to start selling as well. And what you usually see is like a lot of companies, they do deliver the leads, but they don't help with the sales process afterwards. That's probably the reason why a lot of our clients are burned by marketing agencies, SMMA, or kind of similar companies, however they position themselves. Mm-hmm. Like they just have bad experiences because they haven't been taught on the way of selling and the difference between inbound and outbound. And I think that kind of puts, what makes us different is that we kind of perceive them as partners as well. And we want to essentially help them to move forward. So like, for example, discussions around like, hey, as a founder, am I the one that needs to do the sales, or do we need to attract a sales guy? Those are like conversations that we have with clients as well. That doesn't mean that we're stepping away from sales, but that does mean that the stuff that we do will be done better by them doing sales as well. So I think that puts it for us into a really good position where we can actually deliver on the stuff that we do as well, because we have ultimate control on what we do. And like still some clients,
of
like
course
we can deliver a sales script and they don't keep it, and they're on a call and they say like, hey, but what do you want to buy from me? Like, that's not how it works, right? Like, they don't know you, they have no clue who you are, they have no clue what you sell. But yeah, it makes it way more controllable for us. And I think that kind of, ties into why we have the success that we have as well, and why we deliver those good results for our clients. And still,
and we're not perfect. Not every client succeeds. I hope there comes a day where that would be the case. I don't think every B2B
I think we need to accept that that's not going to happen.
There's always stuff that doesn't work like you want it to, but I think like we've always had a model where it was like, hey, way less clients, higher prices, and then still like a healthy business. Because if you have, if you look at what we're doing, it's basically the core element of every business, generating new sales. Like that's a very important piece of the business, and you can't expect to hand that over to a company that you pay $2,000 a month for and then expect them to bring you, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands in new revenue. Like you need to have understanding about the market, understanding about the clients of your clients, understanding about the actual like backstory. How do you help clients? It's not just as simple as, hey, you write a cold email campaign and you get new clients from that. So I think like we've always vouched for, hey, let's go deeper with our existing client base and support them with more, instead of taking on more clients and keeping it very high level and having a model where, hey, we take a client on right now and in 2 months they'll be super unsatisfied and they'll leave again. But if we always make sure that we sell more than we churn, then we grow. Like that's, of course not or at least that wouldn't work for me personally, because I'm too attached to client results, I'd say.
Also for the brand, it's not.
No, it's and there's, I'd say, a lot of companies out there like that from the outside look similar to what we do, because that's why I said earlier, like lead generation has been super burned. Everyone
it's just the name itself always kind of puts it into a different perspective that people say like, oh, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, oh, you're a lead generation company.
Yeah, you're one of the hundreds of other ones that are there.
Yeah, and I think, again, a reason for why we have grown so quickly and I hope we'll grow even quicker this year is that we have always focused on one industry. I think like we've been working with primarily custom software development companies for
2 years,
2.5, 2.5, maybe even I'd say 2.5 years. And then you also have similar companies to us that work with everyone, like every type of client. And then it's a thing of, okay, how properly do you understand your clients, the clients of your clients, and can you actually support their business growth? Because business growth is not as simple as, like I said, just sending emails. It goes way deeper. Like you have businesses that have, I don't know how many sales guys, and they still fail to grow. And then you have like people working within a company, and those people should know the company because you actually work for it, and they still fail to generate new revenue or attract new leads or whatever they need. So I guess that's also a big thing for us where, you just know your clients, like you speak their language. Every discovery call that I do, for example, it's the same list of the top 3 problems again, because everyone goes through the same phase, I think, because we know like, hey, if a prospect is anywhere between 20 and 50 employees, okay, then they're probably struggling with 1, 2, and 3. If it's 50 to 100, then it's probably this and this and this. And that also for us makes it easier to just, by the fact that you've done this so many times, like actually put in the reps, it makes it easier for us to dial in our marketing, dial in our content, dial in our sales process, because you can so properly like articulate the problems that your prospects are having instead of selling what we do. Like we could, I don't know, pull up a pitch deck with, hey, we do your strategy, we send emails, we host events, and we'll help you with your sales. But if a client doesn't identify with the problems that we solve for them, then we're again another vendor that sends emails. Like that's how they will then see us. So,
and it makes it easier to set up the team as well. Like I think the team that we have, like there's a lot of people that have a little bit of technical background as well in like software development, design, or something similar to that, which makes it easier to build a team. Like if we look at where we're going towards 2025, 2026, we don't know yet what the actual kind of next big thing will be. But like one of the things that you could do is like get people that you have within the team and consult them with your clients as well. Like for example, if they are really good at development as well, like our clients could leverage them and I'll ask for certain advices on how to develop or something similar to that. So like we have people within our team that do have a development and a technical background as well. And I think that really works well because like immediately kind of, even though that you don't talk about development, like people level right away because they know like, hey, you're a software developer as well. Like, yes, we do software development, and not, like that way it levels as well. So I think that's like I think that's a good thing about focusing on only one industry where I think we're not really aware of, which does really have an impact.
Yeah. I think like if you look at what we deliver to our clients, if you take on a client way outside of your niche, then you need to figure out everything from the start again. Like you don't know their clients, you don't know what they sell, you don't know why their clients buy from them. And like with each client that you take on, you need to go through an entire cycle, which either means that you need to charge your clients a shit ton of money to even like figure out, hey, what's your strategy? Or it means that you do not charge them a lot and basically already know like, hey, we can't deliver on this, but we are selling to them anyway because we want more clients. And I think again that is a shitty situation to be in. I think
that's what we had at the start with like all of the different companies, a physiotherapist, a car leasing company. Like, how could we kind of looking back into that? Like, how could we sell cars that you just lease out over cold email or something like that? Like, how? And like looking back into that, I wouldn't do that anymore. No. Like I think one of the biggest advice is like a lot of people ask me as well, like how do you start, where do you start, or whatever. Like just pick one industry, just pick one thing, focus on that, and eventually you'll get good at it. Like it doesn't mean that it will be sorted in 6 months, doesn't mean it will be sorted in 9 months, maybe not even a year, but eventually you know what the problems are. And like working with a lot of these companies, like we, for example, know like once we have a client that's onboarded, we know like they're usually not really good at sales. They usually don't position themselves in a good way. Like they don't focus on like selling quantifiable results. They rather focus on like, what's the software? Where do we create the software? And like no one cares. Like most people just want to know how much time is it going to save me? What's the additional revenue that it will get? What's the additional profit margin? How many people don't have to work on a certain task anymore? How can we automate it? And I think that's the good thing about having focus on like one industry right now. And I think we'll probably not pivot. Like we are extending a little bit with like the B2B SaaS right now. But I think we'll probably stay within this space forever until like we've hit our max overall.
Yeah, and I think that's also like indeed, like you said, we expanded from just custom software development to like
quite a similar industry.
SaaS as well, because a lot of our clients already had SaaS tools internally that they were asking us like, hey, can you help with this as well? And we were like, okay, let's now expand. We wanted to have like super dialed in focus on one niche first, but you kind of get to a place where it's, hey, okay, you can't take on, because a custom software development company will also directly compete with all of the other ones. And especially like locally, we got to a place where it's like, okay, we can't take on any more clients. Otherwise, we're just competing with ourselves. We then made the step to go international as well. But it's still like, you don't want to run a business where you cap yourself on, hey, I can't work with more clients than 10, I don't know, within one country. Otherwise, you start competing with them. But yeah, I think the focus has been a massive leverage point, I'd say.
Where did you focus on?
Just the niche on its own, like just the like, hey, we work with this type of company and we're trying to learn as much as we can from all of them and figure out like what is our ideal client profile, like what is, because a lot of the companies that we speak with, when you ask questions like, hey, what's your ideal client, you usually get something like, oh yeah, it's companies that do, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 500 million euros in revenue, something like that, or they need to be in the manufacturing industry. But then it's still like, that's so broad, like there's no, like how can you be relevant for those companies? Like if you have a manufacturing company with 100 employees or a manufacturing company with 5,000 employees, same niche, but not relatable in the slightest, like it's so different. And then that makes it super difficult to like, okay, how do we actually help someone? And for us, it was always like custom software development companies, I'd say anywhere between 20 and 150 employees. Yeah. And you segment it into 20 to 50 employees, 50 to 100 and 100 plus. And you just know, like you have such a close, like, or a tight client profile that there's no way of not knowing what they are going through. And yes, like at the start, I think we were also scared of like niching down so far because you drastically decreased the amount of companies that you can work with. But it's like if you have a total addressable market of 50,000 companies, but you can only be relevant to, I don't know, 0.05% of them because you just don't know how to resonate with them, then that's still like, that's not going to get you anywhere. And if you have a total addressable market of like 5K companies, but you know how to be relevant to 5% of them because you've spent so much time with those companies.
And you don't need like all 5K. Like we need 10, 20, something like that. So it's just a little piece of, and I think the same concept applies to our clients. Like most of our clients still do everything to everyone, like building custom software development. And I think like most of them are also scared focusing on like one of the industries, but also with that, like the main focus should be to talk to a lot of people and kind of from the market get what the problems are right now. Because usually you notice that a lot of people just do assumptions, like they assume that this is a problem that they have and they assume like, hey, we have built this product for a client, so like all of the other people in the industry must have the same problem. But essentially like we don't know until we actually speak to the market. And the longer that we speak to them, the more pain points that we know, the more problems that we know, and the more things that we know, like, hey, this is actually something that, in this case, our client can solve. So, for example, like with healthcare, if we only focus on healthcare, then over time we know exactly what are the problems within hospitals, what are the problems with doctors or whatever. And from there, they can start building out the whole proposition around it and only speak towards like that specific industry. So I think the focus also would be to just talk to people because essentially we don't know what's going on in the market until we actually speak with the market.
Yeah, just validate.
Again, getting back to validation. Yeah, and that also
self before you build.
Yeah, and like you said something about like we don't need a lot of clients. I think that's also been a massive thing for us. That like the type of business model that you choose, because you can pick a, I don't know, low ticket business model, and that means that you need a shit ton of clients to even break even. Probably
like if we would do the same thing within this industry, but then just only do like one small part of what we do right now, like for, I don't know, 1/10 of the price, then we couldn't have built the bit because like the target market is not big enough. And I think with also like what applies to like the kind of contracts that we have with client, like it is a higher contract overall, but it also improves the mindset of the client because like, could you imagine like one client paying us, I don't know, $1,500 a month, something similar to that? Like they wouldn't even do things that we say because they think it's only $1,500 a month. But like with the price that we ask, it gets them to do things. Same thing with like, let's say a personal coaching program. Like if you would pay $30 a month for a personal coaching program, then you would just go to the gym once a week or something. But if you would pay $500 for it, like you would actually do things because you're paying a lot of money for it. And I think that kind of applies to the collaboration that we have with clients as well.
Yeah, and you attract a very different type of client by like increasing your prices essentially, because the businesses that have lower prices are usually businesses that can't afford like higher pricing. And why is that? Because either they have a shit business because they sell a shitty thing, they are shitty business owners. And the people that get to a stage where it's like, okay, we can afford 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10K a month, they have a well-performing business. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to pay that money, which immediately gets you a better client because they understand the game better. They have probably done some stuff internally and have experience around what we already do. And like very few of the bigger clients that we have, like you do not get to a company that has 50, 100 or 100 plus employees on accident. Like you do not get there by being a shitty business owner. You actually need to understand the game. You need to understand that it takes a massive amount of work and that there's no way of just saying to someone, hey, here's 7K, go attract me $1 million in revenue. Like that's not how it works. Like you are still responsible to one, close the deal, but also give us the input that we need, spend time with us, give us elements for the strategy instead of just like, hey, here's 2K and yeah, you do your thing. And if it doesn't work, then it's on you to blame. And I think that's what you very frequently see with companies that have like super low prices to attract a lot of customers. Yeah, it just same as with like, you have a lot of companies offering ridiculous guarantees, especially like internationally. And then it's a thing of, okay, why do you need to like use such a guarantee? It's probably because you can't attract clients without using it. And then it would also come down to what kind of client do you attract? Like, is the CEO of a 100 employee company going to fall for, hey, I will generate you 500 calls in 3 months, or you'll get my newborn baby for free? Like that's like a proper sophisticated business owner will not fall for that, whereas a smaller guy would do. So I think that's
makes it easier to work with.
Yeah,
like I think we've worked with companies where they just literally gave us the key and were like, hey guys, fix the business.
We're on our way to destruction.
We're on our way to destruction. Fix it. And like with that, like they can't wait 3, 4, 5 months for actual results to come in because they needed it yesterday essentially. Whereas with like bigger companies that pay more, it's way easier for us because we also have a lot of time to test, because like it's not just a quick fix that we're implementing. Like it's a partnership that they need to be aware of the fact like, hey, this is going to take months, this is going to take weeks. We need to learn, we need to work together because it's not a quick fix. And like if we have those lower prices and we start with that, then you only get people in to say like, okay, yeah, but where are my leads? I need it yesterday. And they only give you 3 weeks to get stuff sorted. And if it's not sorted, then they say, okay, fine, I'll churn.
That reminds me a bit of the business meme with like the 500 paying client a month and all the things he says.
Yeah.
And like the $50,000 client money sent. Yeah.
No, that's very true. Like hand on heart, that's very true.
We were limiting ourselves with it as well. Like I still recall, Jacob, our business coach, like one thing that I think we'll never forget, we probably need to print it out somewhere, is like the limiting belief. Like we always thought like, yeah, but how could we ask for higher prices? Like we've done it this way. Like the same thing with, I still recall that we built websites for, I don't know, 2-3K for like a full website built for quite a big company as well. And then at one moment we closed our first 30K deal and we were like, how the hell did we do this? And that was like the limiting belief. Whereas like from that point, you were like, okay, if we can do this, then we can do even more. And if we can do even more, then we can do even more. So I think that's probably we probably need to write it down or just make like a poster or something similar to that.
Yeah, and that again comes back to mindset, like even believing that you can do something like that. Because we were like, I think we've probably built websites for not even €1,000 when we started.
I know. I still know the first one. The actual one was $400 or $500 for a full website.
Yeah, and I think you work your way up to. I still recall a specific client that we went to, and we were like, okay, fuck it, let's just go super balls to the wall. And we basically, I think we did a proposal of like €16,500 for one website or something. And they were like, oh yeah, that's fair. And we were like trying to keep cool, and we were like, what the fuck? Yeah, and then it's just like it's breaking each, like take it by micro steps. Like you can't expect to go from, I don't know, €1,000 websites to 16.5K, but like break down every single minor limiting belief, like, oh, I guess it's same as like going to the gym. You don't go from benching 60 kilos to 120, like that's not the goal you set. But if you do 60 now, 62 and a half next week, then you're like, okay, I could probably do 65. I'd say, yeah, do that. And not only with your pricing, but with everything that you do, like the amount of hours that you work, how many productive hours you can work, the quality of the team that you attract, like with everything, just see it as not necessarily micro goals, like you need to set big goals, but just like don't make it super difficult for yourself to hit them. See it as, okay, there's no reason why I couldn't bench 62 and a half kilos next week if I did 60 last week. And then 50 weeks have gone by and you're well over 100 kilos because you take it by micro steps. And I think that also with like revenue goals that you set, we've set revenue goals looking back right now that you're like, dude, my mom would have been able to say that wasn't doable. And the only way to solve that is by doing that and seeing like, okay, this is unachievable. And then next time you're like, okay, what did we do wrong the last time? Okay, we basically wanted to grow a gazillion % within 6 months. And then it's like, okay, let's make it a little easier. Like don't set low goals or goals that are easy to achieve, because you also want to, again, right now for us, a very important thing is like the team that you work with. You want them to be self-accountable, but also like drive them. Hey, you are actually working towards a mission, towards a bigger goal, towards something that is bigger than just your work. And I think that is an important leverage point for us and probably similar businesses that do the same thing. Like you need to not just do something for, I don't know, set a revenue goal that's unattainable and then, oh yeah, we'll see if we get there. Like that just doesn't work. Or at least it didn't work for us in the past.
A bit more about the team you're having now. Like we started the podcast, you grew from 4 people to like 11.
Yeah.
What were the challenges you saw in growing the team and also managing the team?
A lot.
Yeah, it's been the biggest challenge so far. We always thought, like when we started and we were just with the 2 of us and then another person joined and we were like, okay, yeah, sales and marketing is definitely the biggest problem ever. Like getting clients is how are you going to solve the problem of getting clients? And then you got to a point where you got confident in, hey, if we do the necessary actions, we know that we can get clients. And then we started to build the team and we were like, okay, this is going to be a never ending problem. Like this is...
Yeah. I think like I had a discussion with, I think I had a call with someone yesterday where I kind of explained like the kind of learning curve with someone that we revisited a conversation with someone that worked with us a while back, but there were some not problems, but things happening back then where we just had a chat about. And I think like one big thing for us, what we learned a lot from, or at least from my side, if I reflect back on it, is like we were so micromanaging everyone. Like, and that's mainly because like you're so involved with like no mistake can happen, because like if a mistake happens, everything the shit will hit the fan essentially. And I think right now, like where we have the team in place, I could say like 100% like we have a really solid team culture. Mm-hmm. I think like everyone is working really hard. We also make a lot of fun, and I think that's like one of the biggest things that we've learned personally as well, to like also just make fun along the way and not only focus on like work, we need to do this, and if someone makes a mistake, that can't happen. Like everyone makes mistakes, whereas back then, like I still recall that we had a SDR on board, whereas like if he was 1 minute too late for the meeting, I just called him out straight away. I was like, Warrior 1 minute too late. We can't have that happening with client meetings as well. Like now, like I don't know what the situation is. Like there's stuff that can happen. Maybe there was something happening at a home. Like it's just 1 minute. Like the world's not going to end. And that doesn't mean that we don't accept everything from everyone. Like we still have high standards. We still want everyone to perform. But I think it's like being more realistic with everything, like besides work as well.
Yeah, I think it comes down to very cheesy, but balance. Yeah. I think there's, for example, the first 2 weeks of this year have been very chaotic, very hectic, high workload. Everyone's putting in a bunch of hours. And it's just like actually being in the trenches and just figuring out shit as you go, because you don't know what's going on. But then it also comes down to, for example, I was speaking to a team member yesterday. and he had some personal stuff going on. So we started the day a little later, and near the end of the day, he was like, okay, is it okay if I stop now? Because my head's not feeling like I can do more work. And I think in the past we would have said like,
no,
work is not over yet.
Like we start at 7 and we end at 7.
Yeah, and now it's like, okay, you just like, everyone has bad days, everyone has good days. Like and I think the reason that we did that in the past is also because you're just scared of giving control away, scared of, hey, someone else will not do it as good as I will do it. But no one is going to do that. Like we had to learn to accept that someone else would do 70 or 80% of what we did, because you can't expect someone else to give as much as you do about your own company, about your clients, about your results. And of course, you're going to look for the people that care as much as possible and train them as hard as you can and be as involved as you can. But no one's going to give the same input or energy as you do. I think there are a couple people on the team that some weeks work more and harder than we do and deliver better work. But then again, it's also, hey, those people also get bad weeks, get bad days. And then it's also giving the freedom, the trust, and also being involved with them. Like, hey, how can we help? How can we support? Like it's like you said, have more fun during work. Don't take yourself so seriously. I think that's also a very big thing. Like, what is the worst thing that could go wrong? Okay, let's say you churn a client because a team member made a mistake. Okay, yeah, that will be shitty for, I don't know, a couple hours. But then it's, again, we got that from our business coaches. Like, if you are not going to care about this in a year from now, then stop thinking about it. Like, stop giving a shit about the mistake that you made or what happened. And I think that is something that we try to and push onto the team as well.
I think with that specific situation, it's also the way that like the team member kind of takes responsibility as well. Like, I think like we had someone in the team that made a mistake. I think that cost us like 500 euros or something similar to that. And that was like more in like the early days, and we were like, damn, but like he took responsibility for something like that. And then it's like completely different, right? Because like we all make mistakes, but it's more of a matter on what do you do with those mistakes as well? And I think that's something that like I speak to a lot of people, because I do most of the recruitment for us, like who we're going to hire, when we're going to hire, that stuff that we cover together. But like I speak to the most people with the actual recruitment. I think like one of the biggest things that I look at right now is like, of course, someone's experience. How do they know what they actually say that they know? But more of like, how do they connect with us? Like, is this specific person like the similar kind of person as who we are, both on like a characteristics level? Like, can they handle direct feedback, or do they actually want to build something within their personal life? So like questions such as, where do you want to be within 5 years? Like, if they have the answer to that, I think they're already one step ahead of someone that doesn't. Because essentially, like, we know where we want to be. Like, we don't know it exactly, but like we know where we want to be. And if we just have like one person within the team that's not similar to the rest, that's just, that's burning down the whole team culture.
It's literally the same as, when you have like fruit or vegetables or whatever.
Yeah, like one of the things in there that's not.
One thing is shitty, and then within a day, everything can go into the bin. And I think that's very similar within a team as well. Because what happens is that by time other team members will see that when you don't double down on it, when you don't like remove the bad apple or whatever, like others are like, okay, so that's the new standard. Like, oh, they're accepting that. So let's see what we can do. Like, okay, let's do less work. Let's, I don't know, be less responsive, put in less effort. And I think, it's very difficult to spot that on time. I think you'll probably always spot it too late, because it starts building super slowly, but as soon as it's there, and I think it's very difficult to remove. I think that's...
Everyone wants to be part of something, right? Like, it's the same thing as like when you were working at the supermarket, you're just one of the hundreds that are working there. And like, what we try to do is just be really transparent with whatever we do. Where do we want to be? What's the revenue? Like, most of the people within the team know what revenue we have. What are the goals? What is the update with a client? Like, we want to involve them as much as possible with whatever we're doing, and also with us. Like, currently we invest a lot of time and also money in like personal development. like people within the team know that as well. Like they know that we're investing in personal stuff, that we want to become a better person, that we want to become a better leader. And I think that kind of gets people of like feeling part of that. They're actually working with us to build the business that's also part of them, because we're still a people-based business. Like we need to have the right people in to deliver. And with that, it's also like showing that we actually care about them. Like I think most people just really focus a lot on like money, bonus, whatever. And we have like structures like that in place as well, but it's more of like, hey, I actually noticed that you did something like this. Really good. Thanks for doing that. Like I think those smaller things, smaller compliments, and you don't need to overdo it, of course. But I think like these smaller things make someone to be seen. Like the same thing as like, I know that someone was working quite late yesterday, and I replied to him like, yo, thanks for fixing this before we head into the weekend. Like I think those are, yes, we can expect them to do so, but it's also like someone wants to feel that they're part of something and appreciate it with like, yeah, doing something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why, for example, we like, I think in a month, I think it's 3 weeks or a month, we're heading to Dubai, and we take some of the guys with us as well. Like, we want to just not only share something for Christmas, but like they have been here since like the start. They have been like working at 7 a.m. together with us till like 7 p.m. in the evening together with us. And I think it's more of the smaller things instead of like, hey, here you have a small Christmas bonus. Like taking them with us to something like that where they haven't been. It's also good for one, their mindset, but two, it also builds a little bit of team culture. And they feel like, okay, like these guys take us with us to such a thing. It also makes them feel appreciated as well.
Yeah, and I guess like, and that is like a end of day a monetary thing, but I think it's the stuff that you can't buy is the stuff that someone appreciates the most, because it's the small stuff like, hey, you're on a team meeting and you just notice that one person is off, like the energy is down, they're not as engaged as usually, and then it's the thing of, hey, like, are you able to identify that and actually like send someone a message like, hey, what's going on? I feel that the energy is off. And usually it's a thing of, I think you probably thought that I overthought stuff like that in the past, like, team member X is having a bad day or whatever. But usually when you then send a message, you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling the best and things like that. And then it's, okay, like, how can we help? What can we do? How can we take away workload? Can we let someone else help you? Can we do whatever it might be to get you sorted? Because like you said, we're a people-based business. Like, if our team doesn't feel good, if we don't feel good, then no one will feel good, and you won't get the results that you are striving for. So I guess that for us is it's just the biggest leverage point by far.
And for me, it's also like the biggest thing that I like the most on what we do. Like we had someone leave, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, start of January. Like he left because he wanted to pursue like a different kind of approach on what he essentially wanted to do with his life. And like I still recall that he sent a message on like, hey, this is literally the best job that I've ever had. And
I'll top it. He even created a LinkedIn post announcing that, hey, I'm ending at Blynked. I'm going to pursue something at X, Y, and Z. And then he ended his LinkedIn post with tagging everyone on our team and saying, thank you guys, this was the best job I ever had. Yeah. Like publicly sharing that on LinkedIn.
And like that makes me more excited than like whatever kind of client thing that like we get.
I can close 10 deals, but it doesn't top the feeling that you get from that. I think that's I
always kind of position it also with like people that I speak to with recruitment. I always position it as like,
just screenshot that. Like, hey.
I always say to them like, we want to build a team culture where it's like a brotherhood with women in there. Like the feeling of a brotherhood. Like we can't only have men in there. We need women as well. But like that feeling is what we essentially want to create. And I think that's mainly like everyone that I talk to is like, yeah, but I've been working at a corporate company. I'm just one of the blah, 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 blah. I need to stay within my own lanes and I can't do something differently. For us, it's like, if you have an idea, of course we need to discuss it, but like go ahead, implement it. Like if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. If we take accountability for it, all good with that.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like the team culture, how you build it. And also like people want to be seen, what I felt from you.
I guess it comes down, and we basically did it like by accident. I think there came a point where we were like, okay, we're not satisfied with how we are doing it right now. And then it's just, okay, start like stop enforcing stuff. I think now it flows naturally. Like we do it as we are as persons. Like we don't try to be something that we are not, or we don't try to introduce stuff that we don't stand behind. And right now, I think it's just a thing of this is who we are, and this is what we want to be, where we want to be, and how we want to do it. And then it's a thing of like find the people that agree with that, like find people that actually feel the same. And like you mentioned, like we had people that could have earned something or more money at a different company, but then they were like, okay, this feels good. Like money isn't everything. Like you could, I don't know, get double the pay, but if you feel shitty every day, then what's the money worth? And yeah, I think for us, the team is it makes it more enjoyable for everyone. Yeah. Like if you go to work, whether it be in office or remote, if you're like, oh, I have to talk to that guy again, then you are not going to produce good work and deliver good results. So for us, I think the biggest thing is indeed finding people that match our culture, because like skills can be taught, mindset usually not. Like people can, be better on an interview or try to frame themselves as, hey, I'm that guy. Sometimes you get fooled, and sometimes people are good liars.
To be honest, there's a lot of people that literally use AI. I had an interview with someone that was just like, every single time that I asked a question, it was like, sorry, what did you say? And then if I repeated the question, I saw her typing on the laptop, and she was like reading from the screen, and I literally just called her out. I was like, are you using ChatGPT right now with the question that I asked? No. I was like, a lot of people do that. Like what we use is like a Willow interview. I don't know if you know that, but it's kind of an online interview where people can just opt in and just answer questions for like 1 minute on the camera. Speeds up the whole process a lot, because we just filter out unqualified people. But you see so many people that you literally just read from the screen and read from AI, and it's insane.
Fill out the questions that we ask, like in ChatGPT.
Yeah, like don't overdo it. It's like the same thing. It's the same thing as like our first discovery call that we ever had. Like we, for context, I think that was when we were building websites or like doing advertising. It was advertising, and there was this guy that did personal mindset coaching or something similar to that, and we had our first actual sales discovery call. Whereas we prepped like literally any question that he could ask us, like literally everything. Like we wrote down like 2 papers with like all of the questions. And we had our mouse with us, and we were scrolling through the question with the answer in there, like reading the answer off the screen. Like that's how people do interviews right now as well. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I guess that's your mission in this case, like
filter
out those people. And then from there, like it could be that you take on someone who has very little experience in the role that you are like recruiting for. But if it's someone that actually matches what we are doing, then like you'll properly land. I think another team member that joined the team early, was it early this year or end of last year? He also shared like a LinkedIn post with, hey, I've had such a warm welcome, and everyone's willing to help me out and to like properly onboard me into the team. And I think if you have like a place to work like that, everything will flow naturally. Like if everyone empowers each other, we try to also push on like not only do good work and perform at work, but also make sure that you are again aligned personally. Like if you have a bad day, of course that's accepted. But if you are in a shitty mindset and think negatively about yourself, like we can't expect you to deliver good work, because who would be able to? So that's also something that we try to touch on as much as possible. Like if the energy feels off, just ask them what's going on and just help out as soon as you can, instead of seeing that it's there or just like
I think
not accepting that.
It will probably limit, kind of not limit, but it will slow down the growth in the short term. Probably, like if we're pushing everyone to the max, to the limit or whatever, like the growth in the short term will be way bigger. But like in the long term, it's like more sustainable to also make it feel good and just have like a solid place for people instead of only like pushing. And I think that's the thing of like building an A team overall. Like the whole concept around like building a player team is like, I think more on us to attract the right people and filter out the right people than the person itself.
Yeah,
like and if they are in the right if we get the right people within the right company, like immediately they're more of an A player. Like if we get someone that's really good at something within the wrong role or within the wrong company, like they could be an A player, but like they can't do what they actually want to do. So it makes them more of like a B or C player.
Yeah, and there's no way that you're going to attract, and not every team member can, will, and should be like an A player. But there's also no way that you can attract proper talent if you have shitty culture, shitty people, and a shitty place to work. Because like people that know what they can do and like that are confident in, hey, I can actually deliver good results, they are never going to work at a place where 95% of the people that work there do not give a shit about their work, about their life, and about whatever they are working on. And I think that is also like you just need to, again, very cheesy, but it's the like work hard, play hard environment that just works for us right now. Because you put in a lot of work, you expect high performance both of yourselves and your team members, but you also give a lot of room for failure, freedom, money to invest into personal development. Like just end of day, like we don't know what we're doing either. We're just trying to do as
just doing something.
We have knowledge, we have experience, and based on those two things, we try to do the stuff that will work, and that it's not always the case. Yeah. And I think end of the day, no one knows what they are doing. Like even bigger CEOs or whatever, there's always a next level that you haven't explored, and you look for people that are there to give you advice, but it still will work for him. Doesn't mean that it will work for us. So it's just like, again, for me, it comes back to don't take yourself so personally. Don't try to be perfect. Don't enforce so much stuff on yourself. Just be aligned with what you're doing and yourself, and do what feels best for you. Like if we make a decision on, hey, we're going to introduce this into the team or into the company and it doesn't work, okay, then we'll remove it. Like why beat yourself up about stuff that didn't work? Because
you're in control.
Yeah, and it also doesn't, like, what does it get you? Nothing. Like you only feel bad about yourself. Oh, why did we do this? Oh, we lost money. Oh, we lost a team member. We lost a client. Yeah, who cares? Like it's, again, a lesson learned, something that you will not do again in the future.
Go on and just keep on trying. And don't give up. To go a bit more about a little bit about the future of Blynked. You want to grow to 3 million coming year and grow even further, I think. What are the steps you're gonna take to grow?
The biggest lever is on the client acquisition side, like attracting more clients, and then also scaling the team to properly deliver on that. I think what we do with our clients, like I said, is very like time intensive, and we have very deep partnerships with our clients. So we're not entirely sure of, hey, the model that we have right now, is that the model that's going to take you to 250K a month or 3 million a year? We don't know yet. We're not trying to figure that out or whatever, but we're just like, again, we know that what we're doing right now works. Like, let's keep on doing that, focus on that, make that better. And then from there, we'll see, like, if an opportunity arises, flow of life, then we'll see like what will life throw at us. And if we decide to pursue that, then we'll do that. But a lot of it is down to, we recently started with paid ads. That unlocks more skill because you can just, if you get your funnel right, you can just pay money to get a client. So that's something that we're working on a lot right now. And then
it's really, really hard to decide what like the next thing is. Like you have something working, we focus on what works right now, and like where it takes us, we don't know yet. We can have an assumption, but until we're there, we don't know when it will break.
No, we have ideas and we have concepts in mind around, okay, what could we do? Like, of course, from where we are right now to where we want to get to, it's like, that's big growth. And that's also the expectation that we set at the start of the year. Like, okay, guys, we're going to push hard. If we get it, everyone will be rewarded properly. And I think, it's a combination of client acquisition and then also, again, recruitment. So we're already pre-hiring for roles that we will not need until 4-5 months in the future. But we, again, want to spend proper time on recruitment, like speak to as many people as we can and just spend as much time with them as you can to make sure that when the need arises, like when we need someone in 4 or 5 months, we have an entire dressing room full of people that we can work with, instead of then, because we made the mistake in the past where it was like, oh fuck, we actually needed one like yesterday. And then again, you make the wrong decisions because then you're, again, it's like operating from a place of scarcity. You're like, okay, let's take that person on board. We know that it's not the best, but let's do it because we need someone. So right now we, spend a lot of time on client acquisition. because I think we've grown quickly last year, but we haven't pushed it to the limits. And I think right now we're confident in the fact that one, the team is solid. We've worked with enough clients on this model to say, hey, if we do these things, there's a big chance that it will work. And I think right now everyone's more confident. Okay, let's actually go deep and go hard on client acquisition. Because if you're not confident in the things that I mentioned, team, delivery, etc., then you, again, unconsciously will hold yourself back from doing the things that you need to do. Because, if you don't feel like you're worthy of getting clients and getting to the next stage, then you're going to self-sabotage and trip yourself up. And I think right now it's a thing of, okay, we know what we need to do. That's client acquisition, that's hiring. And basically everything that we do, revolves around those two things, because that's like the primary driver. And the biggest driver is, again, as we discussed first, is it's pipeline. Because if we know that if we speak to enough people, we'll get the results that we need in terms of new clients in. But if we're hiring for or recruiting for a lot of people right now, but if 3 months go by and we've only hit 25% of our pipeline and revenue goal,
we don't need all of those people.
We can't hire. There's no money to hire. There's no need to hire, etc. I'm spending a lot of time in the Meta Ads Manager.
Just also a bit go with the flow.
We can map out a 12-month plan, for example. But let's say, okay, we start running ads and we run ads for the model that we have right now. And those ads don't work. But on accident, we find an angle this is different from what we do. But this works. Then you're going to explore that. So it's a thing of, you can't ask yourself, okay, what am I going to do in 3 years? Because stuff changes on the daily, basically. It will probably be the same for you guys. If you keep on pushing, keep on trying new stuff, you might introduce something that you haven't thought of and you're like, oh my God, this is it. This was the best decision that we have ever made. And it's just you know what you need to do. You know the actions that you need to take to drive the needle forward. And then what will happen next, we'll see. We'll see what...
The only thing that can kind of hold us back is the own mindset.
Yeah.
I think that besides the stuff related to business, I think one of the biggest thing that will get us to the growth in 2025 that we want to get to is the personal mindset stuff. Because essentially that, I think we haven't been well known yet with how that ties into the team. They always say that lead by example and stuff like that, and we always thought lead by example is by the actual actions that you do.
Work hard
because
hours.
that's always been the thing. It's always been work hard, grinding, get early in the morning, get there, and even the things of you need to get up early and hurry to be in a rush to get to the office as soon as possible. But we do this because we want to also build the freedom to just be calm and have peace with that as well. And I think the personal growth that we want to get into for 2025, that ties into the whole thing with the business, because that gives us more clarity on what to focus on. We don't make decisions based on emotions because we are able to detach more of what happens there. It gets the team in a better position because we are better examples for the team as well. It gets us in a better position as well. I think the goal where we want to work towards is that we are more out of the operations. And that's also a thing for 2025 to kind of get us more out of the operations so that we can spend more time on hey, what can we do with the team? How could we motivate the team more? What is the new kind of thing that we can build out? What, strategic things that we can do as well. And I think that will bring us way more growth, essentially. Yes, we need the details, but I think that will bring the best growth.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for sharing your story today.
It was a pleasure.
For the lessons you learned and shared on the podcast today, and also about the team. I think very good lessons about how you guys did it and where you're right now, and also a bit where you're going. Go with the flow mindset, very important.
Yes, definitely.
So thank you guys. If people want to search you up, where can they find?
Blynked.io is the website. You'll find everything that you need, contact info or whatever. If you want to know more about us, how we do stuff, what we do, who our clients are, go funnel hack us.
Perfect. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
On to the next.
It was a pleasure.
On to the next.